Good evening and welcome to KiniNews. Barisan Nasional and Perikatan Nasional may be on the same team at the federal level, but soon in Malacca they could be fighting against each other.
Perikatan Nasional Chief Muhyididn Yassin has given the go-ahead to proceed without Umno in the upcoming Malacca state election. He said PN can no longer wait for Umno to make up its mind on cooperation. He said this because Umno have thus far not shown any indication that they are ready to cooperate, negotiate or discuss. With this, PN is ready to face a three-cornered fight in Malacca. He said if they continued to wait for Umno, their efforts to plan for the election will remain stuck. Meanwhile, on the topic of PAS, Muhyididn said Party President Abdul Hadi Awang agreed for PAS and Bersatu, together with Gerakan, to contest as a team in either straight or three-cornered fights during a recent meeting. However, this message does not seem to have been relayed to everyone in the PAS leadership. At a separate event in Selangor on Thursday, PAS Secretary General Takiyuddin Hassan said BN and PN were constantly in talks as they were part of the same federal government.
Lim Guan Eng is shocked that some problematic projects under the Najib administration were revived under the Muhyididn administration, and now he's counting on Ismail Sabri to make things right on his administration.
Prime Minister Muhyididn Yassin's government had in February revived two scandal-plagued pipeline projects from the Najib Abdul Razak era. This has left former Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng in shock. The projects are the Trans-Sabah Gas Pipeline and Multi-Product Pipeline or MPP projects commissioned by the Finance Ministry-owned Surya Strategic Energy Resources Sendirian Berhad. In a statement, Lim said these two projects are among the most preposterous financial scandals of the Najib administration. Najib's former Special Officer Amhari Effendi Nazaruddin had testified in the former Premier's 1MDB graft trial that the SSER projects were among several mega deals offered to China in order to help bail out 1MDB. This was amid 1MDB's mounting debt, which the prosecution claimed were substantially misappropriated by Najib and his associates, and international investigators closing in on the scandal, which the US Department of Justice said saw Malaysians, quote, defrauded on an enormous scale. Lim, who served as the finance minister under the Pakatan Harapan government from 2018 to 2020, had cancelled the SSER projects. He questioned why Muhyididn revived those projects without punishing the perpetrators. The DAP lawmaker urged Muhyididn's successor Ismail Sabri Yaakob to address the matter.
Najib may not be going to Singapore as early as he initially hoped to, because with Zahid out of the country, UMNO will be depending on Najib to make sure things go smoothly in Malacca.
Najib Abdul Razak is looking to postpone his trip to Singapore until the completion of the Malacca state elections. The former BN chairperson stated this in an affidavit in support of an application for the temporary release of his passport filed at the Kuala Lumpur High Court earlier this week. He said in light of UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi flying to Germany during that period for backbone treatment, he has been entrusted with the responsibility to ensure that UMNO moves and takes action properly and accordingly while Zahid is not here. This means that he can only fly to Singapore on the 21st of November. On Monday, the Court of Appeal allowed Najib's temporary passport release application so he could be in Singapore to support his daughter Noriana Najwa, who is expected to give birth there.
We can't say this enough, rape is not a joke, but it looks like there may still be people out there who don't understand that. And that's why thousands of people are signing a petition to make that message clearer than before.
A petition called Zero Tolerance to Rape Malaysia, No More Excuses is now the most signed petition from Malaysia on Change.org. Though it was launched by the women rights NGO All Women's Action Society or AWAM in 2019, it remained dormant for a long time. Change.org Malaysia campaign lead Adli Zakwan said the petition returned to public attention late last night with a spike of new signatures. This comes after actor Muhammad Fauzi Muhammad Nawawi was called out over his comments about rape. On the 19th of October, Muhammad Fauzi was chastised online for joking on an Astro Warna talk show about how he enjoyed filming rape scenes. While the actor later apologized and admitted fault for his remarks, the episode sparked a larger conversation about the prevalence of rape culture in Malaysia. Days after the incident, Fauzi's name, along with hashtag #RapeJokeIsNotFunny and signed the petition, continued to be trending topics on Twitter.
Still to come after the break, have you and your friends resumed your late-night Mamak hangout sessions? Well, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin has something to tell you. Find out what that is after a word from our sponsor.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Uric. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Uric, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome back. The English word for female dog has no place in most people's vocabulary, but that didn't stop a senior executive of Sabah's wildlife rescue from allegedly using it on a social media post showing his staff.
A Sabah Wildlife Rescue Unit senior executive has been accused of sexual harassment. The group CSO Platform for Reform Sabah chapter in a statement today said on October 19th, a senior executive of the unit posted a Facebook photo of 3 young women with a caption using a derogatory term typically used to describe female dogs. The group was referring to a post shared by Carolina Zhu, who substantiated her allegation with a screenshot image of her former boss describing 3 female staff with a derogatory term. The post was taken down soon after with an amended caption and a short apology. The group pointed out that Zhu previously penned a 4-page letter addressed to Sabah Wildlife Department Director Augustine Tuga on July 5, 2019 upon her resignation from the department. Zhu also claimed that funds were not properly allocated to necessary services and salaries were not paid in full, while used lavishly on unnecessary and inappropriate expenses. The group said they believed this is a cause for concern as it involves public funds. The group also voiced concern about the disrespectful behavior and treatment of women working in the department. Officials from the Sabah State Government and the Wildlife Rescue Unit have been contacted for comment.
Now, according to Khairi Jamaluddin, you can only take off your mask while eating when dining in. If you want to chit-chat, well, you're going to have to put it back on.
Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin has reminded those who dine in at restaurants that face masks should only be removed when eating. Apart from that, he said masks should be worn at all times, including when talking after eating at restaurants. Writing on Twitter, Khairi also said the Health Ministry has seen many cases of people talking after eating without face masks. One netizen also suggested for customers to be asked to leave after eating and should not be allowed to continue talking. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry reported 6,630 new COVID-19 cases today. The number of people requiring hospitalization for COVID-19 is dropping at the national level, down to 11% over the past week.
Now let's talk about this place called Pulau Batut. Khalid Nordin wants to get inside the head of Dr. Mahathir to understand why Pakatan Harapan had at one point decided to drop the review of its status.
Umno Vice President Muhammad Khalid Nordin has quizzed former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad on the real reason why his government decided to drop the review application of the International Court of Justice's decision on the Pulau Batut case. Earlier, Mahathir said the country should keep its promise to accept the ICJ's decision. However, Khalid, a former Menteri Besar of Johor, did not appear satisfied with the answer. The ICJ in 2008 had ruled in Singapore's favour, deciding that sovereignty over the island off the coast of Johor belonged to Singapore. The government under former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak had filed a review of the decision in 2019 in light of new evidence. In 2018, after Harapan came into power, Mahathir said the government was looking at dropping the judicial review, although in 2019 his administration said it was proceeding. The ICJ had ruled that while Pulau Batut was originally part of the Johor Sultanate, Malaysia had failed to act while Singapore exercised sovereignty over the island for over a century, thus losing control of the territory.
As political parties gear up for the state election in Malacca, Harapan's Adli Zahari is still trying to challenge the dissolution of the State Assembly.
Former Malacca Chief Minister Adli Zahari is challenging the dissolution of the Malacca State Legislative Assembly earlier this month. At the Kuala Lumpur High Court this afternoon, his lawyer Razlan Hadri confirmed to the media about the filing of the Judicial Review Leave application. The Judicial Review application named Caretaker Chief Minister Sulaiman Mat Ali, the State Assembly Speaker Abdul Rauf Yusof, the Election Commission and Malacca Governor Muhammad Ali Rustam as respondents. On the 4th of October, 4 assembly persons led by UMNO Sungai Udang Representative Idris Harun announced their decision to withdraw support for the then Malacca Chief Minister Sulaiman. Following the collapse of the state Perikatan Nasional administration, Ali Rustam made a decision to dissolve the State Assembly, paving the way for state elections on the 20th of November.
That's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget that you can follow us on social media to get the latest headlines on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. If you'd like to support the independent media, please do consider a subscription to MalaysiaKini.com. When you're heading out, don't forget your mask. And when you can, please still do try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, stay safe, Malaysia.